Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Roma Revolution. My name is Ben, and coming up on today's episode we have a Europa League group game against Ghent, followed by a big game in Serie A against Napoli. Since the last episode I've managed to play a few games in Serie A, including one in the Europa League, and our form has been pretty good. So since the loss against Juventus that we saw on the last episode, we went on a good run, winning 2 games on the trot in Serie A against Cagliari and Brescia. We then went to Aberdeen and sort of dominated in a really good 2-0 win in the Europa League. We then had a really big blip actually. We lost to Udinese in a game which we did dominate, really disappointing based on the previous form. Udinese at that point were down in 15th place in the league, so a game we really should have won at home, but we reversed that and returned with a really good 3-0 win against Parma before obviously going into today's game. All in all, that puts us third in Serie A, only 2 points off of Lazio, so we're really in with a shout if we do continue to play well of potentially pushing for a Serie A title this year, and we are currently top of our Europa League group. But without further ado, let's get stuck in today's game, and this will be the lineup. We've got Paul Lopez in goal, a back four is Zappacosta, Smalling, Fazio and Kolarov, Pellegrini and Diawara couple up in the midfield, with Kluivert, Mkhitaryan and Zaniolo playing in behind Kalinic as the striker. Mancini misses out at the back, he's unfortunately injured for this one, and Dzeko is returning for an injury, so he is only fit enough to make it onto the bench. But without further ado, let's get stuck in, and I feel a win today in this one will pretty much secure us qualification from our group. Both us and Ghent have both won both our first 2 games, so this is the top of the group clash. I believe if we win this one, we should well go and qualify for the knockout stages. So let's pick up where we left off last time, have faith, and fingers crossed we can go out there, beat Ghent, and as I say, all but secure our qualification for the next round. And here we go, we start with a long throw, and it's Kolarov. Can't quite find Kalinic, and Koosman's in goal for them, manages to gather. But the highlight is continuing. Kalinic trying to disturb Koolman's there, but he managed to get it out to Asari, who plays it back to the centre defender, who I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but they've got it to Plaston. He's being pressed well here by us. Are we going to be able to nab the ball? And Kalinic has, and he's through a goal. And can he make it 1-0 early on? He can! Nikola Kalinic, his 4th goal of the season. He's been flying forward whilst Dzeko has been out injured. And he gives us an early goal against Ghent. Plaston at the back, giving it to Mere. Dallying on the ball. Kalinic nabs it off him and slots it into the bottom corner. Great start. 1-0 Roma. And it's looking good if we can keep this up for us to be able to qualify for the Europa League knockout stages. Obviously, nowhere near meeting the aspirations of where we need to be. Looking to get to the final of this competition, but a really good run in the group stage will help us towards that, as we've got the ball back through Zappacosta at the back, who finds Fazio, who then finds Kolarov, who's going on a nice run down this left-hand side. He has got Kluivert inside him, who he's managed to find. Pellegrini now. Fazio, Zappacosta and acres of space on this right hand side if we can find him, but we keep going down this left, and Pellegrini gives it to Kolarov, who gets the ball in for Kalinic, who hits the post, falls as far as Zappacosta, Diawara, and the highlight ends. Kalinic looking really lively early on. He's been really good, as I said, being in the team. The first couple of games he came in, he was a bit quiet, wasn't quite sure if he was going to be up to the grade, but he got a couple goals in the last game, and obviously as you've seen, he's got that 1 goal here, so fingers crossed. While Dzeko has been out, he has been really good, and he's providing some good competition to Dzeko as well. As we come on the attack again, Zappacosta to Diawara, Smalling, Fazio, as I say, who's in for Mancini, who has been playing really well before this. Oh, Kluivert with the effort. Can't quite find a way past Koosman's. The highlight is continuing, however, and Koosman's clears, but only far as Zappacosta, who, if he can beat his man, has got acres of space on this right-hand side, and he does. Zappacosta in a really good position, cutting inside, it goes for the shot, but it's just over the bar. Zappacosta, so far for me, has been our best player this year. He's been absolutely brilliant on that right-hand side. Hatful of assists, constantly beating his man, so actually, obviously only on loan, but if he keeps his form up through the season, he might be someone I'll look to bring back permanently next year. However, just before half-time, there is a chance for Ghent, and Plaston heads over. And I think we should just about be going into the half 1-0. Really good first half, dominated the game. 12 shots, 58% possession. Annoyingly only 4 on target, but we do take that 1-0 lead into the break and let's put on a worthy display. They've not been bad, but I think we can do better. So let's say that. Go out all fired up and fingers crossed we can secure the victory in this second half. Kalinic the standout so far, everyone else having a pretty average game really. Mkhitaryan really struggling in behind the striker, so he'll probably be the first one I'll look to bring off. But here's Fazio out to Kluivert, who's got Kolarov outside him if he can be found, and Diawara finds Kluivert with a lovely ball. Kluivert cutting inside, is he going to have an effort? He does, but he can't quite again find his way past Koosmans. Kluivert's looked like he's just not quite managed to find his way past the goalkeeper. But Fazio here, straight to Zaniolo, who nods it back to Diawara. Zappacosta going to try and beat his man again. Can he? He's got the cross in. It's fallen to Kolarov on the edge of the area, who hits it on the volley. Very close. But again, Zappacosta doing really well on that right-hand side. And I think just gone the hour. We're going to bring Mkhitaryan off. Zaniolo is going to slot into the middle for us. I'm going to bring Under on this right-hand side. And fingers crossed, we can just get a goal that secures the victory. Still a bit nervy, still a chance that we could lose this. But Pellegrini with the ball in straight to the keeper. And there is a chance if he distributed it quickly for them to break, and he has. And David is on his way into the box, but he can only kid it straight at Pau Lopez. And it remains 1-0. I'm going to demand a little bit more. We've not seen much of us this second half. 20 minutes to go. I have got Pastore on the bench, who's going to come on in behind the striker instead of Zaniolo. I haven't, no, I've got Perotti on the bench rather. So what I'll do is I'll push Pellegrini up into there. We'll take Zaniolo off, bring Vertu on in the middle, and that will be that until probably we look at another change in the last 10 minutes. But again, we've dominated the ball, 57% possession. We probably do deserve to have more than one goal on the board. And looking here, either Zappacosta or Kolarov need to come off because they're struggling for fitness. I'll make it Zappacosta. He's had a good game, but we can bring Spinazzola on for the last 10 minutes of the game. And fingers crossed, we can see this one out. A little bit of passion to end the game. 5 minutes to go. We've done really well. As I say, I think this win is probably going to secure us qualification through. By the looks of it, Aberdeen have just beaten, or are beating rather, Rosenborg. So that probably secures them a chance of qualifying. But it looks like it should be us again. And we've been awarded a penalty by the looks of it. Cisse shoved Klasinic. It's going to be Kolarov to make it to secure the victory in added time if he can. And he does. Kolarov slots the penalty away. 2-0 Roma. Secures the victory. We will be top of our Europa League group with 3 games to go. Qualification all but in the bag. And that's a competition now that we can probably cease focus on for a little while before going into the knockout stages. We have got a highlight here straight after the penalty, however, and Odidja in the middle. Old Norwich player, I believe, Odidja Rafo, and he's making his way in, and he's had a shot, and Pau Lopez saves. A great little run there by Odidja Rafo. And that, by the looks of it, is going to be that. 2-0 Roma, excellent victory. We go top of the group, and fingers crossed we can carry that form onto the Napoli game, which I will be with you for in due course. A few changes then for the Seoul derby against Napoli. Kolarov in need of a complete rest, so he misses out completely. Spinazzola comes in on the left-hand side. Mancini's returning from injury in the centre, and a slight mix-up at the front three. It's now Perotti, Zaniolo's moved into the centre, and Sengi's Under plays on the right-hand side. Kalinic did enough in the last game to keep his place. Dzeko is now fully recovered from injury, but I think he was just too good to miss out. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. Lazio have lost their game already. Juventus did win, so a win here could take us second, but we'd then only be 1 point behind Juventus. So there is a potential that this season we are looking like serious title contenders, but we do have to get past Napoli first, who with a win here will leapfrog us and go into the Champions League qualification spaces. So let's pick up where we left off last time. We've got a lot of faith as always, and I'll send the assistant to the tunnel and let's go. So as I say, a historic derby, Roma and Napoli. I didn't realise actually until it came up on the sort of news and on the inbox. A historic derby called the Seoul Derby, so fingers crossed. A big one, obviously, for the fans that we can get one over on them. But they've got the early free kick and Insigne just puts it wide, and they seem to have dominated the early proceedings. It is difficult. We have struggled a couple of times when we've rotated. People like Kolarov are pretty key to the team, it would seem. But hopefully, obviously, if they are in need of a rest, these players will step up. And we've got Smalling on it at the back, who's interchanging with Diarra and then Zappacosta. Back into Smalling, back to Diarra, back to Smalling, who finds a great ball to Zappacosta, who's surging inside. He's got options ahead of him. One of them is Spinazzola on this left-hand side, who, of course, is in for Kolarov. Spinazzola tries to go it alone, doesn't quite get the shot on target, and it remains 0-0. But as I say, if you look here, it is fairly tight at the top, so results going one way or another will make a big impact. But all three above have already played, so a win will put us in there up to second. But a bit of a quiet first half, and it would seem, looking down here, both teams are sort of just equaling each other out. We're dominating the possession, but we haven't quite been able to get any chances from that. But we have got Under on the ball, who's lost it, and there is a chance of good attack, but Pellegrini wins it back in the middle, goes for goal. Realistically, wasn't going to go in from there, just wide, and it has been quite a quiet and subdued first half in the derby. Let's say we're far from pleased. We want a better performance than that in the second half. Demand a bit more, and fingers crossed we can go out and nab the win. But they've got a throw here, and Goulam throws it short. He's got room on this right hand side. It's being pressed though well. He's got the ball in. Insigne at the back post, and it's 1-0 Napoli. And in a big game again, we saw it against Juventus, against the bigger teams. We seem to be coming unstuck, and again it's a rotated team that is doing the damage. We need to sort it out here. We need to sort it out fast. Perotti can't quite get hold of the clearance there, and they've got it here with Maximovic. Alan back to Maximovic, out to Callahan, to Malquit on this right hand side, who's managed to get past Perotti again, and he's got a chance to put it in, but he only plays it back to Fabian, who finds Alan in the middle. Zielinski on the right, Insigne, Zielinski, Goulam with space again on this left hand side for them. Are we going to be able to nab something? No, Goulam, acres of space. There's a chance for a second here. It's fallen to Callahan at the back post, and they've hit the bar, and we've got away with it. I think I'm going to go attacking. We've got to go at them a bit more. Let's have some creativity. We've not turned up here at all in this second half. We've seen nothing from us, and I think with half an hour ago, changes are in order for us to be able to get something from this game. Both wingers not playing well at all. So Zaniolo is going to swap with Under and go out there. Under's going to come off completely, and we're going to bring Mkhitaryan on for him. Perotti comes off. Kluivert, who wasn't quite fit enough to start, will come on. And fingers crossed those changes can just make the change to this game that we really need to get back into and find a goal fast. But Zappacosta with the long throw. Mkhitaryan can't quite get there, but it's come back out to Zappacosta on this right. Back to Diawara, who finds Pellegrini in the middle, who's found Zappacosta an acre space on the right. He can get a good ball in. He's not been able to. Zaniolo finds Kalinic, and Meret makes a really good save. Kalinic obviously has been in fine goal scoring form. I backed him to score that one there, but he couldn't quite get it. And Smalling just heads over the crossbar. But that's looking brighter. We're looking better with 20 minutes to go. Probably one more change needed. Looking through, we've got a couple of fitness concerns. I'm going to bring Pellegrini off in the centre, and he's going to change with Vertu as the final sub. Can we find a goal here and grab a draw? We've started to look a bit better since those changes have been made. We definitely deserve something from the game. It has been quite even, but with 8 minutes to go, I think I'm going to have to try and go it all out. Let's just make a few tweaks. Kluivert can go on to attacking on that wing. Zappacosta can become more of an attacking complete fullback on that side. And we're going to have a proper go and see if we can grab something late on. But as time ticks by, it looks like we are going to suffer another Serie A defeat. Really struggling to find consistent form in the league, especially against these bigger sides. And Napoli have got one over on us in the Seoul Derby. Disappointing performance. That will see us drop down outside of the European qualification spaces for now, I believe. And what was a really good chance for us to go second and challenge for a title now see us in 6th and really looking to scrap for European qualification. But hopefully by the time you're with me next, we would have been able to turn the form around. I'm going to play all the way through November. I'll come back, I think, for the Bologna and Atalanta games at the start of December. Fingers crossed our form can improve, but if you have enjoyed that one, please leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Football Manager content, and thank you all for popping along and watching.